Hey seniors, we're still in 8.2. We're still doing elimination. This is the last two problems for elimination. This problem we're going to multiply one equation. This problem we're going to multiply both equations. Okay? Now I know back in Algebra 1, most of you were taught to multiply both equations and just do that. And that's fine. You can do that. But I always work smarter, not harder, so I'm only going to multiply one equation. If I look at this system, if you are one of those odd people that like substitution, by all means, you could do substitution here. Remember, solve by graphing, substitution, and elimination are just three different ways to solve the same problem. I could solve it one way, you could solve it another way, and we could still get the same answer. So if you like substitution, you could do substitution here. If you like graphing, you could graph this. But we're going to do elimination because to me, much easier. All right, when I look at this, I see that I have a -3 and a +1. Okay, the second I saw the plus and the minus, I zeroed in on the y term. If I multiply this bottom equation by 3, I can create a positive and a -3 with the same variable. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I am going to rewrite this. 2x minus 3y equals -7. And then I'm going to distribute the 3 on the outside to all three terms, not just the left side. Remember, when you multiply or divide, you multiply or divide all the terms in that equation. So I get 9x plus 3y equals -15. If you notice, I have created my opposite signs. That's what I want. That's what your job is to create this. You get rid of this and you add up the other terms. You get 11x equals -22. Okay, -7 minus 15 is -22. Here you only have to divide by 11 and you get x equals -2. Once you get your x, you're only half done. Plug it back into one of the original equations. Plug it into the easiest equation. So 3 times -2 plus y equals -5. 3 times -2 is -6. Bring down the plus y equals -5. Add 6 to both sides, and y equals 1. Okay, my solution is x, y, -2, +1. Okay, I created the equation where my terms were positive and negative of the opposite, or positive and negative of the same number. Over there, if you notice, I don't have that anywhere. I have a 5 and a 2 for the x, and I have a 3 and a 4 for the y. It honestly does not matter which one you choose. If you want to eliminate x, great. If you want to eliminate y, great. It doesn't matter. I see the first thing is 3 and 4, even though they're opposite signs, they are 3 and a 4. This is the term that I would choose to eliminate. But I'm going to do this one because I want to show you what happens when you pick a variable that has the same sign. Both of these are positive. So if I want to make these the same number so that I can eliminate, I've got to multiply this top equation by 2, and I have to multiply the bottom equation not by 5, but by -5. Okay? I have to have one positive and one negative, or it is not going to work. So I'm going to distribute 10x plus 6y equals 12. And then I'm going to distribute on the bottom. -10x plus 20y equals -25. Okay? I have created my positive and my negative 10. Okay, so I am going to eliminate my 10x. 6 plus 20 is 26y, minus 25 plus 12 is negative 13. When I divide by 26, I get another fraction, okay? Always check to see if it can be reduced. 13 goes into 26, so I get negative 1/2, okay? And again, sometimes you do get fractions. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to look up at my two equations. I have 2 for a denominator. Pick the equation that works nice with 2, which would be this one. Oh no, I'm looking for y. It still would be this one because 4 and 2 play nice together. So 2x minus 4 times negative 1/2 equals 5, okay? If I have a whole number multiplied to a fraction, I can put that over 1, and then I can cancel. 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 4 twice. So I now have 2x, negative times a negative is a positive, 2 times 1 is 2, equals 5. Subtract the 2 off of both sides, I get 2x equals 3. If I divide by 2, I get another fraction. Again, it's possible, okay? So here I solve for y first. This doesn't go first. The 3/2 goes first because this is x. My negative 1/2 goes second because it's y. And I have 2 fractions for my solution. Okay, so let's look at both of these. These 2 equations, one of these numbers can easily go into the other number. It was 1. 1 goes into anything easily. Just multiply by that number. I don't care what it is. Find something, if one of these coefficients multiplies easily into that other number, multiply that equation by that number. Always check, make sure you have one positive and one negative. Once you create, in this case, negative 3 and positive 3, cancel it out, solve the problem, take the variable, plug it back in, solve for the other. In this problem, if you notice, nothing goes into anything easily. 2 doesn't go into 5 and 3 doesn't go into 4. This is why you have to multiply both equations. Now you're going to say, how do I know what to multiply by? Remember, you want to create one term that has the same number but opposite signs. That's what you're looking for. Same number, opposite signs. Doesn't matter which variable you choose. Doesn't matter if you choose the positive and the negative that were already there. Or create the positive and the negative. Just don't forget. Okay, and then when you're distributing, also do not forget to multiply by that negative. Once you get to here and you see that you have created that positive and negative, delete it, and then add up the rest of the problem. Okay, remember we're doing algebra. Adding just means follow the signs. Solve for the variable. You might get a fraction, no big deal. Plug it back in. Always pick the equation that works well with the denominator so that you can cancel it out. Otherwise, you end up with much harder fractions. This canceled easily. Solve the rest of the problem. Got another fraction. X equaled 3/2. That came first. Y was negative 1/2. That went second. This is my final answer. This is a prime example why graphing doesn't always work, because you get decimals or fractions. Okay, so this is the end of elimination. Once you get this down and you practice, you won't want to do systems of equations any other way. This really is the easiest, even though this is a little bit more work, this is the easiest way to solve a system. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email. check the videos on Khan Academy. You should be able to do the assignment now. And the next time I come back, I'm going to do 8.6, which is the last thing we have to do for this chapter. See you shortly.